the power to believe that good things will come to you, the power to believe in your ability to think and actually manifest good things in your life has changed my life. And it has been only something that I've had to learn all by myself. The ability to just believe that I can make it happen has literally changed the course of my life. 1 year ago, I was in a pretty bad spot, living in my car on meth. As you can tell, I've given a lot to meth. I've given a lot to the drug world. I've given a lot to all that 15 plus years. And I came to a place to where I had to either learn to believe or learn to lose hope. Because I was in a bad spot, living in my car, cold. And I came to the realization through having courage, through having the ability to know that through anything, I have the power to conquer. I have the power to believe things could happen and make those things come true. Now I sit here just 1 year later, and I'm graduated high school. I have my GED. I'm enrolled in college, and I believe those things happen because I had to take my math test like 4 times just to get my GED, and oh man, I wanted to quit. Anyway, and I believed these things to happen, and I persevered through, and I believed them to happen. You know, I was not around my wife a year ago, and I have my wife back in my life. I have my daughter in my life. A year ago, I would have said you were out of your mind if I would have thought that my parents would trust me, believe me, have faith in me, let me run with their debit card, let me use their cars. All these things that are happening in my life, I believed I could be this person first. You know, I had to be this person first before I could actually allow these things to manifest. But I had to believe in here, and I had to let my thoughts believe that these things were coming. I had to speak out that these things were coming. And these things came, and they came to pass, and they started happening. And pop, 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 pop. And now I'm in this like mode of believing to manifest my future, and I know it's true. But you got to change the way you think. You got to change the way you respond, the way you react to things, the way you think about things. Everything you believe to think may not be beneficial for you. There's huge steps you got to take in order to start making these things happen. And people always say, oh, you can manifest your future. They say all these things, but they're hooks just to make you, listen for some reason. But there's so many of these detailed things that happen in your mind, in the mirror of your mind, that you spend so much time in trying to become, that you end up really not making any efforts to become, because you're just sitting in the mirror of your mind, and it's just keeping you there, and you're not really doing anything because you're just talking to yourself, persuading yourself that you're going to be this one day, but you're not making any real steps because the thoughts that you have behind it are negative. They're not impacting you in a beneficial way, and it keeps you just sitting there in the mirror of your damn mind. They're just keeping you in the mirror of your mind, and you gotta step away from just the mirror of your mind. Is very useful. Your mind's very powerful. You're constantly sitting there, but you gotta change the way you think about the person you want to become, and just start manifesting in the mirror of your mind. You spend so much time thinking about who you want to be in your head. Oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. Oh, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. Oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. I should have stepped up, or I should have stepped up, or I should have said something, or I should have said something. And all these things that you don't do for the comforts of what actually happens around you, and it is way different. And you could easily manifest good things by just changing the way you think, changing the way you react to everything. Because a lot of times we have allowed ourselves to feel uncomfortable Um, I know I should probably put my teeth in, but I'm not gonna put my teeth in because my daughter's still asleep and my niece still asleep, my wife's still asleep. I'm not going to make all the noise. So if you can't understand me, hit me up. I'll let you know what I said. Anyway, the mirror of your mind, man. I mean, it's you gotta change. You can't just think that this is what you want to be. You gotta think about how you can manifest these things within yourself to become this person, and you can't make anything around you responsible for it. You see, everything is truly up to you, and you have the power right here to change your future. And you do that by the way you see yourself in your own mind. You start changing that person. Stop compromising that person for other people around you, because this journey will not only help out the people around you, but it's amazing how it will affect everybody around you if you just stay focused on how you can make yourself better through this journey of trying to make sure your mind is free, is open, is ready for imagination, creativity, to be courageous and brave, to be open-minded and ready to be that unique imprinted stamp of a person that you were created to be. And just don't ever forget that you have that power. You have what it takes, and it's right up here. It's right up here. And you got to start seeing yourself different. You got to start thinking different. You got to start reacting different when things become uncomfortable. Wait a minute. Is me being uncomfortable in this moment beneficial for me, or is it not beneficial for me? Why did I create myself to become uncomfortable in this moment? What brought me to become uncomfortable in this moment? And when you start asking these questions and journeying through these emotions and these different things, your feelers are a real big one. You get caught up in your feelers. Your feelers are just temporary, or just things that they're great when they're used right, but that'll be later. And your emotions are great when they're used right, but first you have to have control of the way you think and the way you allow your feelings and your emotions to control your mind. If you could control the way you think first, it is so impacting on the way you react in your feelings and in your emotions. You gotta start back in the basics of stuff. We want to start with our fillers because our fillers are there, and our emotions because, oh my God, our emotions. And our emotions really don't matter. At the end of the day, all these things will matter the most if you can control the way you use your mind, the way you react to things, the way you think of things, the way, and you start journeying through to find out, wait, do I react to this because this is the way I want to react, or this is the way I was taught to react? Is this even a right response to the way I'm reacting to what I'm reacting to? And a lot of times we find ourselves going, whoa, this is really just not the person I want to be, and I don't like this person. And then you got to find ways to change, and you got to start finding books, and you start finding this other stuff. Well, the real way to do it is spending some real, true, quality, quiet time with yourself. And it's some of the hardest things to do, but you must force yourself to spend time in your own mind, traveling through why you are the way you are, who you are, what you're doing, or what's making you what you are, and if everything that drives you is really a influence of yourself, or an influence or a persuasion of someone else. And when it is somebody else, or it has been influenced by someone else, is it something that's good? Did that person know what they were talking about? Or by chance, did that person not know what they're talking about? Because a lot of times, even our parents, even our teachers, even the people that we have learned from when we really didn't know any better other than to learn from these people, they were wrong, or we perceived it wrong, or it was taught in a way we didn't learn it right. And if we don't start to relearn how to do these things and do it right, it becomes very destructive in our future, destructive in our relationships, destructive in our own lives, and it's very poisonous to families as well. But you got to start controlling the way you think and the way you react and respond, and know that it is something you desire, and that's something you love to do when you respond to somebody, when you talk to somebody, when you have something happen around you. Are you responding in the way you want to? Or are you just responding or reacting because you have so much broken emotions, so much broken feelings, so much broken things that were influenced by people or by things that were also broken? You know, how much of what we are is collaborated together by teachings of people who are also broken, or who also didn't have you didn't have the teachings, or didn't have, you know, the knowledge that, you know, we need now, or what we have now. You know, we need to journey through these things that, how much of your life has been influenced or persuaded in a way or in a direction that was not good or healthy for you, that ended up creating bad habits that is now destructive in your life and in your family and your relationships. you know um, this is more monumental than finding out what you want to do in your career. This is more monumental than figuring out what your money is, because at the end of the day, you can figure out how to build a home and how to provide for your family, but it will still be very destructive if you don't become the person you're supposed to be in it. Because if not, a home is just a home, and the people in it will just fall apart and be separated or isolated away from each other, or hate each other, or break, or just fall apart. You cannot neglect, or avoid the moments where you have to stand up and sit in the uncomfortableness of these situations that we tend to feel right in avoiding. We cannot constantly just allow that, because people respond in a certain aggressive way, or a certain rude way, or a certain kind of way where most people don't want to have to go through the course to help people get there. But if we do not do it for ourselves first, and we do not get ourselves first there, we will not be able to understand how to help other people get there. So take the time with yourself. Take the time to realize your family is important, to realize the future is important, to realize people are important, and make a difference in your own life, in your own self, and take the journey to have the power of your own mind, and to love, and to learn how to love, and just get there, and get there for a better you, a better family, a better life altogether.